why for the last 2 years I hadn't made a lot of progress in my art was because of those two factors.
If you're up for a good laugh, be sure to check out my comics on Instagram at JMan's Comic Book Adventures.
Alright guys, London Lad Lost in Asia, and I am going to do another video, and this time it's going to be on my how I believe full-time jobs, or the wrong full-time job, can kill your dreams as an artist, and it can also be really detrimental to your health. Like this comic, I'm just going to quickly go over this comic. Basically, it's a scene of where a boss is raging at me for 4 panels. I walk along, I see a McDonald's, and I'm like, one little bite wouldn't hurt. And then I'm in the McDonald's and 2 people are looking at me and saying, he's crying like a loser. Look how much he ordered. And this is somewhat of a true story in a way. I wasn't crying in the McDonald's, but there's a McDonald's right next to where we work. And there's been so many times where I've just gone to the McDonald's because it's there as a way to make myself feel better about how much of a crappy day I had. Referring back to the book I really love, and I always talk about Atomic Habits, he always talks about this sort of environmental design and how, well, I can't change the fact that McDonald's is there, but I don't think it was really good for me to work there anyway, because it was right next to the McDonald's. So whenever I'd feel bad, it became a habit to go to McDonald's. It was really actually crazy how bad that was, because whenever I didn't feel bad, I would just go to McDonald's. Luckily, I'm still working out and I don't always eat bad, but I needed to figure out better ways of dealing with bad days at work. But basically, I'm just going to talk about how full-time jobs can be really, the wrong full-time job can be really detrimental to you as an artist, because I'm just going to go over my situation. I used to work at a kindergarten, and the job used to be really, really good, right? I'm a teacher in China, right? The job used to be really, really good. And I really used to enjoy it, and it used to be a really great environment, a lot of fun people to work with. But suddenly, as time went by, it became pretty annoying because of all of the busy work that I had to do. And this is one of the big things where I think, when you're choosing a full-time job as an artist, if you're transitioning, you have to get a full-time job to pay the bills, but you want to eventually become full-time with your art. This is one of the things that you need to really think about. Does your job come with a lot of busy work? Because my job became with a lot of busy work. I had to take pictures of the students doing different activities for their portfolios, not only for their portfolios at the end of the year, every other week, or every week, but we took it in turns as teachers. We had to, let's say if one of my students is writing a letter A, we had to take pictures of them and post them onto this online thing so the parents could see, and they're like, wow, my kid's learning. This took a long time, and essentially they asked for so many pictures. It's almost like you're a photographer and a teacher, and it's I want to focus on the teaching and not take pictures. But as well as this, there were so many other things I had to do, like these communication books, and I had to, again, my class was weird. I had to talk to the parents individually about each one of the kids' progress. And again, this is not like parents' evening like you would at a normal school. Imagine if you're a teacher and imagine if your mum had access to your teacher's WhatsApp and they could talk to them whenever. That's kind of how it was set up for me. This job had so much busy work that literally there'll be days where I would literally eat for 20 minutes and then my whole day would be just working, doing busy work tasks and teaching. Instead of again, I'm meant to have an hour's lunch, that 40 minutes even would cut in. My work would cut into that 40 minutes so that are meant to be mine for lunch. And I would lose that. And again, that 40 minutes is a lot, because if I look at my daily drawing habit right now in terms of following Brad Colbro's courses, at the moment I'm doing I have to hit 30 minutes a day, So again, that amount of time is it can really kill your productivity as an artist, when even your lunch break is impeded, gets impeded because of this work. and then work that you have to take outside. So my advice to people, like if you are getting a full-time job as an artist, make sure it's a job that doesn't have a lot of busy work, and it's one where you can like literally you can literally output something like that you're meant to get done during the day or the week, and then the rest of the time is yours to keep, right? Like for example, if you were doing I don't know what type of job, but for me, like again, talking about my situation, I'm moving to a job where I have to teach, and then there's office hours, but in those office hours I can do whatever I want, which is really, really helpful. Obviously I have to plan the lessons and make sure they're up to scratch, but outside of that I can kind of do what I want, which is really useful. Whereas if I'm in a job that they just keep demanding things from me, I mean, that really kills your motivation as an artist, because like all of the day you're doing stuff for that job, and it even gets into your lunch break. And then sometimes you have to take stuff home. And then at that point, you're so pissed off and annoyed with everything that you just want to veg out, watch some anime, eat junk food, and feel like crap. Well, for me, it wasn't that bad. At least I'll go to the gym like 3 times a week. So if I did a Monday, Wednesday, Friday sort of thing, I would 3 out of those 5 days, I'll do something productive. But sometimes I'll do 2 days during the week and 1 on the weekend. So 3 of those days will kind of be like me sludging out, because I felt really like drained after work. So do something that's not too draining. Again, because I was working with kids that are super high energy and I had to be with them all day. Do something that doesn't have too much busy work and doesn't have a lot of sort of draining aspects to it. I think that's one of the reasons why for the last 2 years I hadn't made a lot of progress in my art, was because of those 2 factors. Another factor is the fact that my co-workers began to become annoying as well, which didn't help, because you're around a bunch of people that you're annoyed with, and you're annoyed with them from like from 8 to 5 p.m. You're around this energy that you don't want to be around. And that can really be detrimental to your mood and wanting to create art as well. Another problem I had is that my commute was a 1-hour commute each way. So sure, I can actually, and what I did do is try to use that time productively each time, sort of doing art and stuff like that, or studying Chinese as well. But sometimes, you know, you can't be guaranteed a seat, because if it's a busy station, you have to stand up. So you know, that kind of cuts into your time as well. And by the time you come back from getting up, you know, at like 6 a.m. like I always do, getting up at 6 a.m., getting ready, going to work, doing all that busy work, you're on a really busy metro coming back, and you get back home at 6 something, and then, you know, you just feel drained and exhausted. You know, your Monday to Friday essentially becomes a day where you don't do much, if any, art at all. You know, and that just leaves Saturday and Sunday. And it's just like, wow, if you really want to be someone that's transitioning into doing art full time, you should be doing art every single day, not just 2 times out of the week, because you're so drained. But it would be really bad at times to where I wouldn't even want to do art on the weekend, because I'll just be like, use the weekend to recover. Like I've been in these stages, like not saying now, the last 6 months of self-improvement and getting back on my grind, it hasn't been like that. But there's definitely been times in this 2-year period of where I was working at that job where I wouldn't do anything productive at all, because I'd just be so drained from everything that was going on. There weren't long periods, but I calculated it. I actually did this mental calculation in my journal. I feel as though out of the 2 years I spent there was like maybe 1 year where I'll do productive stuff outside of work, or within the time where I'm working, and there was probably 1 year of it when I wasn't productive at all because of how busy it was. So, you know, you have to ask yourself, when you're getting a full-time job, make sure it's a job that's close to where you live, so you don't have to go on a draining commute. Make sure that make sure you maintain really good relationships with your co-workers, or that you don't have many co-workers at all, because people can be a negative drain on you as well, depending on the way they are. Because sometimes I'll talk about how I want to do art and entrepreneurship and stuff like that, and then I'll get a bunch of negativity thrown at me by my co-workers saying that I'm stupid, there's no way it's going to ever work, which kind of was draining too. And another one is just make sure that there's not too much busy work, because if you have these 3 factors into play, especially with the commute and all of that stuff, it's really going to kill your dreams as an artist, man. It's going to be really tough. There's going to be so many factors working against you, that is almost impossible to get there. And if you're like me and McDonald's was right next to where you worked, man, that's going to have a negative detriment on your health and the amount of junk food you eat. So, I mean, that's just my story there. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I really did enjoy making it, but you know what? I don't know how to end this video.